I'm going to speak to Stephen Pincus, who is in the studio with us. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, John.
Perhaps you can start off by telling us what is Habonim, what does it mean, what are its intentions, etc.
Well, you just saw an expert scout group building a 100-foot tower. We in Habonim call ourselves the Builders, and although Habonim was started as a Jewish youth scout group in 1930, today we build young people in a different way. I'd say that we build people in three areas. Firstly, we try and develop the character of every single one of our members. Secondly, we try and work towards building a better society in which to live, wherever we might be. And finally, we try and work towards the building of the Jewish state and the Jewish people. Very broadly speaking, we try to provide a warm and stimulating framework, educational and social, for young people. And I would say that in doing so, we provide a very different educational system to any other framework I know of.
Okay, Stephen, thanks. Let's take a look now at a film of a typical Habonim weekly meeting. I believe that this is, am I right, Stephen, of 14 and 15-year-olds?
That's correct.
All right, we're going to watch them singing, dancing, having a bit of a sing-along.
I think to get an education and to get to learn about people of your same religion, to learn about life, to get a different education to that of school, and for the social side of it, to meet people.
I come from Rhodesia, and I first came to Habonim mainly to meet people, new people, helped me a lot. And also at Habonim we learn to work in a group, learn to help each other.
I think, well, it's the sikhas we have, the conversations with everybody as we go into a group. We sit in a group and we discuss a lot of matters, and it really helps us.
Well, I enjoy when we sit in groups and we talk about things, about life, and also it's a total different education to what we get at school. And so you're learning about different things instead of just from the history books and the geography books. And we hear other people's point of view, and I enjoy it.
I've only been to one machane, and I felt that the amount I learned, it was like incredible, because our theme was Etgari, which means my challenge. And the things that we discussed were like not put down, like you weren't forced to discuss it. It was all done indirectly, and like at the end, it all summed up something like to remember. It was like one great experience, and like it wasn't just filled with like educational discussions. You had the Fufi slide. We went on a Fufi slide, obstacle courses, and I just felt I can't wait till the end of the year.
As in the beginning, we got an unpopulated piece of ground. And as time went on, this piece of ground became populated, more and more so. People, let's populate this piece of ground.
Quiet! In 1975, the world's population was 3.97 billion. In 1977, it was 4.08 billion. They reckon that by the year 2020, each 30 people, and here there are 40 people, will only have 1 square yard on which to live. Here people, we are living on 1 square yard. We're not even living in it properly. Come on, onto the board.
a young, no, just think of it as your grandfather. I mean, just think of it as your little son losing his grandfather. I mean, it's
his
not his father. It's not only on him, it's on his grandfather also.
That or not having a little son.
Yeah, not having a little son. Rather having 2 children than...
Let Tracy say something. Hang on, sorry.
If a guy's sick, right, and he isn't enjoying life and he wants to die, and it's his choice, then why shouldn't he be given the option of life?
But what if he wants to carry on living? If he's sick and you want
Okay,
to
so
carry on living,
you've got to come to
you
this decision.
But you're just talking about it from one person. I mean, your grandfather wouldn't like it if he had to say, die. I mean, have to die for euthanasia.
It was my grandfather's choice then.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Hang on, wait a minute. Sorry. No, before we go into the okay, how would you people like to be 65 now and be thrown with a decision to make? Please go and offer yourselves up for euthanasia so that the world's population can level out. Would you accept that?
Well, obviously activities to make one think, yes? Well, on my right we have Uzi Ben Shalom, who you saw clapping away in there. Now, Uzi, I heard from Stephen earlier that all the youth leaders have to be under 21. How come you managed to sneak in?
Okay, really, I passed my 21st year a couple of years ago.
Oh, just a couple.
But actually, I'm not in the movement.
Yeah.
I was sent here from Israel to help and advise the capable leadership of the local movement and just help them running the movement.
Is your activity mainly cultural?
You can say so, mainly, yes.
Yeah. So what do you aim to do in the movement?
My aim is just to make people aware to the fact that the only place in the world that Jews have their own state is Israel. Unfortunately, most of our people is still scattered all over the world.
Yeah.
And we from Israel try to bring the spirit of the independent Israel, the independent Jews, to bring it to all our brothers in the diaspora, hoping that someday they'll come and join us in Israel.
And tell us a bit about the camp that goes on in South Africa.
The annual summer camp is really something unique. You have 1,000 kids for a period of 3 weeks, spending the time outdoors, having, as Stephen said, education, fun, good time, and social life.
Stephen, can I ask you a question? Education, how does it differ, the education at the camp as opposed to your normal school education?
Well, the school educational system, I think, operates from a number of premises which simply aren't involved in a youth movement. You know, in a youth movement, you try to show people what to do rather than telling them what to do. That's essentially the different educational medium. Another area which makes a youth movement differ from a school is the system of discipline. We prefer to operate on the basis of values rather than rules, and we prefer to use the means of group pressure and peer pressure to exert some type of disciplinary framework rather than using force or any kind of vigorous authority. I think the only means of punishment, for example, which we have in Habonim, is sending somebody away from a meeting or a function or a camp. And that's possibly felt far worse than the other types of punishment which are used in a school. And so I think that one could say very, very broadly that whereas a school has a convergent system of education, directing people towards a unilateral way of thinking, not encouraging kids to come out of themselves, you have within a youth movement a framework which encourages questioning, which encourages young people to come to grips with issues in their society around them, and to do it not in a static but rather in a dynamic way.
It might sound to the viewers that you're talking in ideals. Does it in fact always work?
I think it works very well. I think that the end-of-year camp, which is, as Uzi's pointed out, the largest youth camp of its kind in the world, which is a total youth society run from the top downwards by young people, where young people not only educate and lead the camp, but also participate in the services, in the cleaning of the toilets, in the making of the food, in the washing up, in the serving at the tables.
It's quite a shock to some of them who have never done this kind of thing before.
Very much so. But it's very strange that when you find young people who used to going on holidays to beachfront hotels in Durban and Clifton, coming back year after year to Habonim camp, you realize that a youth movement framework has some type of very special attraction for young people today.
Can I just ask you something as a non-Jew? Is there a question of divided loyalties? Because it always seems that Jewish people are so much focused towards Israel. Does this not take away a certain amount of nationalism towards South Africa?
I think if you look at the contribution of Jews within South Africa to the social system here, professionally, in the economic area, culturally, even politically sometimes, and you see the very, very deep concern and commitment for Jews, for whatever society in which they are living, then you see that it's perhaps as absurd, if not more so, to question the loyalty of Jews to the society in which they're living, as it is to question the loyalty of a Catholic or a Frenchman to South Africa.
Fair enough. Right. Thanks, Stephen. We're going to go and have a look now at some of the cultural aspects. Will you tell us a little bit, Ozzy, about the dancing that we're going to see?
Yes, the dancing you're going to see are dancing that were composed in Israel during the last 20 or 30 years. They are folk dances, and the main theme of most of them is the returning of the people to its land.
Well, the ones we're going to see, first of all, we're going to see the shepherdess. Oh, no, it's the fisherman first, beg your pardon, the fisherman, then the little shepherdess, and then the hora, which is a circle dance. That's all from us this week. Now, next week, we're going to be showing you that there's more than one way of having a party. It's not necessarily all bright flace and movies and things, you know. There are other ways. So we're going to be looking at another way of holding a party. And now let's have a look at our first dance, which is the fisherman.